The movie begins on a very stormy night in 1985. Thomas Curie, who takes care of the lighthouse, finds an injured woman who is unconscious on the beach. He helps her and takes her to his home. When she wakes up, she is very surprised and immediately tries to attack him. Then she sees a TV in the other room, breaks it with her trident, and then faints. The next day, she woke up and saw that Thomas had already taken care of her wounds. Then she spotted a fish and ate it. Right then, Thomas walks in and says hello. She tells him her name is Atlanta, the Queen of Atlantis, and they start to like each other. Thomas and Atlanta are together for a few years, and they have a son named Arthur. Everything is nice until one day a group of soldiers from Atlantis break into Atlanta's home to take her back because King Orvax ordered it. Atlanta fights back and successfully defeat all the soldiers. She tells Thomas that she has to go back to Atlantis, or the king will send more soldiers. Before she leaves, she gives him the trident to give to Arthur when he gets older and promises that she will return one day. Then she jumps back into the water. A few years later, we see Arthur as a kid on a school trip to the Boston Aquarium. He is seen talking to the fish, and two bullies start to make fun of him for it. A shark starts hitting the glass, making a small crack and scaring everyone. Arthur places his hand on the glass, and right away, the shark becomes calm. Everyone there watches in surprise as all the sea animals come together behind Arthur, and his eyes shine yellow. 20 years later, a group of pirates led by Jesse Kane and his son David captures a Russian submarine. After the pirates took control of the men on the ship, they found out that something had hit them. Turns out that Arthur is now grown up and is known by many people as Aquaman. He brought the submarine up to the top of the water, went inside, and fought the pirates, beating them all. At this moment, David joins the fight and starts to battle Arthur. Arthur gets the advantage and ends up defeating David. Jesse jumps in and shoots a rocket at Arthur. Jesse thought he had hurt him badly, but Arthur got up without a scratch. Then he gets back at Jesse by stabbing him in the shoulder with a steel pipe. As Jesse is leaving, he tries to shoot Arthur but misses and hits the submarine, causing a hole. Water starts to come in, and Jesse gets trapped under a torpedo. David tries hard to save his father and asks Arthur for help, but Arthur refuses, saying, "You both hurt innocent people." David keeps trying to save his dad, who knows he doesn't have much time left. His dad pulls out a grenade and tells David to leave and get revenge by killing Arthur. David gets out of the submarine when he hears his dad trigger the grenade. He escapes in another submarine while Arthur saves the other Russian sailors.
Aquaman!
After that, he goes to his father, who was waiting at the docks for Atlanta, like he usually did over the years. The two went to a bar where they saw a news report of Aquaman's heroics. Thomas knew it was Arthur. He felt proud of his son and reminded him how he was meant to unite both the surface world and the kingdom of Atlantis. Then a group of bikers approaches Arthur, seemingly looking for a fight, but they actually just want to take pictures with him.
All right, let's do this.
Don't touch me.
Right, that's exactly right.
Everybody smile.
Down in Atlantis, Arthur's half-brother ORM is with Arthur's mentor Nuidus Vulco as they prepare to meet with King Nereus of Zebel. ORM wants Nereus to form an alliance with him in a supposed effort to unite the other kingdoms of the sea. But ORM really wants an excuse to attack the surface world, believing they will strike upon Atlantis first. Nereus is also aware of Arthur's existence, but ORM refuses to acknowledge his half-brother or that his mother lived among the surface dwellers. At this moment, a blast hits the area, and a submarine comes in for an attack. ORM and Nereus round up their forces to strike back, and ORM manages to send the submarine crashing to the lowest depths of the ocean. Nereus is then convinced to side with him as they prepare to send a message to the surface. Later on that night, while Arthur and his father were leaving the bar, Princess Mara, the daughter of Nereus, approached him and warned him that ORM is planning to wage war on the surface and billions of people will die on both sides. Arthur doesn't seem interested, even as Mera tells him that Vulko has found a path to the long-lost Trident of Atlan, which can be used to defeat ORM and allow him to claim his place as King of Atlantis. But Arthur refuses and says, "If ORM attacks, I will treat him exactly the same way your people treated my mother, with no mercy." Meanwhile, in the North Sea, ORM and his commandos meet with David. When he hands him a bag full of gold coins, David responds, "I want Aquaman, not your money."
I want Aquaman.
From this point on, we discovered that ORM had employed David and his father to steal the submarine so that he could use it as justification for an assault on the surface. While Arthur was taking his father home, a huge tidal wave began moving toward the mainland. He tries to escape it by speeding, but it hits their truck and pulls him out. He swims back to look for his dad, but he can't find him. Suddenly, Mera appeared and helped him. She got Thomas out of the water and helped him breathe by getting the water off his body. Then they all look at the land, where we see many warships and submarines destroyed. Mera tells Arthur this is only the beginning. Right now, Arthur agrees to help her stop ORM. The two go to a cliff to jump into the ocean, the same spot where Vulko taught Arthur to swim and use his Atlantean abilities. Arthur and Mera jump into the ocean and ride her watercraft. Mera shows Arthur Atlantis for the first time, and then they visit a sunken ship to meet Vulko, who tells Arthur that the story of Atlan's trident is true. It used to belong to King Atlan, who started Atlantis. The trident was made from strong steel and was created for someone deserving to lead Atlantis. Then, he shares the story of Atlantis, a successful city that developed amazing technology. However, their desire for power led to their ruin, and Atlantis ended up sinking to the ocean floor. But their progress also allowed the Atlanteans to adapt and live underwater, while some others changed and became monsters. After that, Atlan lives the rest of his life away from home. Vulko gives Arthur and Mera a tube to help them locate Atlan's final resting place, just before soldiers attack them. Mera and Vulko get away while Arthur fights. He defeats some soldiers, but then a stronger group led by Merc comes and catches Arthur. Arthur meets his brother for the first time when he stands in front of ORM. ORM believes that his mother was killed because she buried a child from the surface, and he blames Arthur for her death. He also talks about why he dislikes the surface world because of how much damage they have done to the oceans. Then he says Arthur can go away forever, but Arthur dares him to fight. Even though Vulko and Mera disagree, ORM agrees. Arthur prepares for the fight, holding his mother's trident. In the meantime, ORM gives a bracelet to his fiancée Mera. He says it used to belong to his mother, Atlanta. Vulko asks Arthur if he remembers everything he taught him. Then we see a flashback of Vulko training Arthur to use his mother's trident correctly. In the flashback, Vulko also shows him how to create a water shield. Young Arthur thought Atlanta left him because she didn't love him or his dad, but Vulko explained to him that she was killed by being fed to a trench creature. Right now, Arthur goes to the Ring of Fire for a fight in front of a lot of people. Most of them are on ORM's side and call Arthur a traitor. Then ORM uses his trident to break Arthur's trident. Mera stops and helps Arthur out of the arena before ORM can hit him hard. He tells his soldiers to find and kill them, but Nereus makes ORM promise to bring Mera back safely. If he doesn't, Nereus will stop helping him. ORM decides to get in touch with David and lets him take charge of the team to search for Arthur and Mera. He gives David some special Atlantean weapons to make sure he can defeat them. David makes small changes to the weapons and suits to make them how he likes. At the same time, Arthur and Mera get on a plane to go to the desert, and then they jump out without any parachutes. Mera tells Arthur that the desert used to be an ocean. They walk until they fall into a hole that leads them to an old temple where Atlan's trident was made. Mera puts the cylinder on a round platform, but nothing happens until she figures out that it needs water to work. After that, it activates a hologram from Atlant with directions on how to find the trident. Arthur finds a bottle with a map inside. The map shows that their next destination is Sicily, Italy. On the other side, ORM talks to the Fisherman King to try to get him to team up, but the king says no. Then ORM kills him in front of his wife and daughter. He tells them to get the army ready for battle and to wait for his instructions. Arthur understands how to do it by placing the bottle in the hand of the statue of Romulus, based on Atlante's instructions. Right now, David, who is now calling himself Black Manta, arrives with his soldiers and attacks them. He shoots a laser from his helmet at Arthur. Mira fights the commandos while Arthur battles Black Manta. She gets rid of a few and uses red wine as a weapon to finish off the others. Mira quickly goes to help Arthur, and at that moment, she understands how ORM found them. After that, she takes care of Arthur's injuries, and they both sail to the trench. He tells her that he feels guilty for David becoming his enemy because he didn't save David's dad. Arthur said he doesn't feel he deserves to be a leader or a king, but Mira tells him he's mistaken and that he connects people with the sea. In Atlantis, ORM is getting ready to attack the surface world with the tribes that have just come together. He learns that Vulko was going against him, so he tells his men to capture Vulko. While they are sailing in a storm, Arthur and Mira are attacked by scary creatures from the deep sea. They try to fight, but a large group comes and wrecks the ship, making them jump into the water. Just when it seems like they are in big trouble, a strange creature helps them escape danger. It takes them down into a deep part of the ocean and then into a warm, safe place where the air is easy to breathe. It turns out to be Atlanta. Arthur hugs his mom for the first time in a long time. He also tells her that his dad has been waiting for her to come back for a long time. Atlanta tells Arthur and Mira about how she got away from her punishment and has been stuck in a sea that no one knows about. She tells Arthur that the trident is hidden behind a nearby waterfall, and only the Real King can go in and come out with it. Arthur walks in and sees the shiny trident on a vase. He suddenly sees the Carathan, a huge monster that protects the trident. Arthur tries to grab the trident, but the Kraken strikes him. Then, he uses his special powers to talk to her, which is something only Atlan could do too. The Carathan asks Arthur why he should be allowed to use the trident. Arthur replies that he doesn't think he deserves it and that he only wants to save both worlds. The Carathan believes in Arthur and lets him take the trident from Atlan's skeleton. This gives Arthur more power and a new suit that is gold and green. In Atlantis, ORM now calls himself the Ocean Master, and he is gathering his army to prepare for an attack on the surface world. A big battle starts as Arthur and Mira lead their sea creature teams, including the Carathan, to fight and take control of ORM's army. The creatures defeat ORM's soldiers, causing the other Atlanteans to stop supporting him. ORM battles Arthur again, but this time, Arthur makes ORM come to the surface to fight where he is more comfortable. Then, by using a technique from Vulko, he defeats ORM and breaks his trident, making ORM fall to his knees. Arthur chooses to let ORM live, even though ORM asks to be killed. Meanwhile, Atlan comes up from the water to meet ORM, and they hug each other. Vulko tells the soldiers to catch ORM, and ORM goes along with them without a fight. Arthur tells ORM that he will talk to him when ORM is ready. The Atlanteans then agree to make Arthur their new king. On his way back to the lighthouse, Thomas headed to the docks again and was surprised to see Atlanta, who had come back to him. The movie ends here. Please, my family, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.